Hi guys, Simon Trezellian here, and let's continue some of our talks. So today I wanted to talk about Greenland. Okay, now there was a film about Greenland not so long ago. Clive Owen, I think it was, about one of the last vestiges of survival after a major war, and actually quite foretelling in that way. So why is Trump interested in Greenland? Because it seems to be this whole desolate piece of land that is almost as big as the United States, but it's only got 44,000 people in it. It doesn't seem to make any sense unless you actually look at it from a military point of view and you start joining the dots in various different other things that you've been hearing about, one of which of course is global warming. So once upon a time the Arctic was pretty solid, but it's never really been so solid. The North Pole has never been like the South Pole, right? The South Pole and Antarctica is an actual continent. The North Pole is just a series of glaciers, and as global warming has come about, there's been a lot of melting, which means that there are a lot more channels that you can actually go through. Now when you look at the Russians have only really got 3 ports. One is tied up in the Black Sea. Sevastopol was tied up in the Ukrainian war. They can't get out of the Black Sea because of Turkey. Okay, Turkey won't allow them any more ships in, and so all they've got is the ships that are there, and they've lost most of them. Then you've got Vladivostok, and that is really in Chinese disputed territory. So that is fronting up to the Pacific. So that's where the Russian Pacific fleet are. Then you got sort of Murmansk, Kaliningrad. Now Kaliningrad, because of Sweden and Finland and Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia all joining NATO, they're now totally surrounded. So Kaliningrad is the only gateway that Russians have to the North Sea now and the Baltic, but it's really under threat. I mean, you could cut it off in literally a matter of hours. So what they're looking to do is to try and extend themselves into the Arctic, because it's the Arctic that's the only way that you're going to get into the Atlantic for the Russians. Okay, there's just no other way for them to do it. And of course, what's across from the Atlantic is America. So that's the only option that they have. Now, for early warning, and we've got to remember that we already have a base, or the Americans already have a base in Greenland. It's part of the Space Force, and it's part of an early warning system and communication system. So if the US manages to get leases in Greenland, they can actually start to construct deep underground military bases, and it's like a buffer zone against any type of Russian incursion, mostly by nuclear subs, because they would have to come in between sort of Iceland and Greenland, and there is already a surveillance system there, and they'll just be able to detect any subs that come through. So it is strategically important to do that. Now, if you had a base, a Navy base in Greenland, and there isn't one right now, it's like a fishing base. If you had a Navy base, you would be able to extend your Navy right up into the Arctic. That means that you can actually go across the Arctic Circle. And what that means is that you've then got massive trade routes, sea trade routes. And if you control that, you control basically half of the global economy. So that is what Trump is doing. It's a very, very clever and strategic move. Denmark has very little to do with Greenland. Greenland is independent in name only. Denmark can't continue to fund it, and it doesn't want to. It's going to be up to the Greenlanders. I mean, if you put a Navy base there, or a commercial base, which you would probably do as well in a commercial airfield, I mean, the amount of jobs that would actually be created, the amount of wealth that would be created for Greenland would be phenomenal for those Greenlanders, and they're going to have to look at that, because being independent really doesn't serve them, because no one goes there. So it's going to be an interesting time. Now, you link this with Trump's Panama Canal. So he wants the Panama Canal back. Yeah, the Americans built it. Yeah, a lot of people died actually creating it, and they want it back. What it's already done is it's taken the Chinese out. Okay, so the Chinese actually had two bases, one each side of the Panama Canal, and they were restricting US military ships. That's what did it for Trump and this administration. They don't want that at all. So now what is going to happen is that the US is going to take over the administration, at least, of the Panama Canal, may well take it over militarily as well. What that does is that it puts China back in its box, back into Asia, and then it creates massive trade routes all the way through, from the Arctic Circle all the way down to the southern Antarctic Circle. Okay, so you basically then got half of the globe. You control half of the globe, you know, in their sea routes. It's actually quite a very, very clever plan of dominance to do that. So if you can control that, the only thing left that you've got to control is the Red Sea and Suez Canal. Yeah, and control that, and then of course there's only one other one after that. It's the South China Sea. That's why China is doing their thing in Taiwan. So you actually understand, if you understand a little bit of geography and you understand trade routes, you understand what all of this politicizing is about. You know, just got to join the dots, guys. Just got to join the dots. This is Simon Trizillian, voice of reason. If you like it, share it, get it out there. Take care. Bye bye now.